Thank you for joining the Asheville Rise Stronger Together podcast. This is your host, Jessica Knupp with the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce. I hope you enjoy today's episode. This episode is brought to you by the Black Business Alliance, a program of the Asheville Area Chamber of Commerce dedicated to empowering and supporting Black-owned businesses. All right, everyone. Today we are here with Keynon Lake from My Daddy Taught Me That, and we are so excited to have you here and to work with us on our Black Business Alliance and all kinds of new initiatives that we have going on at the Chamber. So thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you so much for having me. It is an honor and pleasure to kick off 2026 with the Chamber. This is awesome.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Absolutely.
So tell me about My Daddy Taught Me That and kind of what you guys have going on and initiatives.
So for the most part, My Daddy Taught Me That is a mentoring program for youth. You know, we do, I kind of pause when I just said mentoring program because we say we do life with our youth and our kids. And so we're not just a run-of-the-mill mentoring program. We have after school. We have a summer school program that was featured on CNN, you know, in 2020. CNN featured our My Daddy Taught Me That in 2023 was Program of the Year in the state of North Carolina for gang prevention through the U.S. District Attorney's Office and the Governor's Crime Commission. And so we do a lot. You know, we have a track team, a co-ed track team that over the last several years we have been getting national attention. In fact, our 10-year-old girl's long jump, she placed number one in the country last year in the nationals, and she set a national record. And so we have a girls and boys basketball team. We also have My Sister Taught Me That. Yeah. And so we have, not only job training, but we have workforce development program. We have an ambassador program. You know, we have so much. We have a junior program. And so it's so much more than just My Daddy Taught Me That. I know that's what we're known by, and that's what we're most commonly seen as, but we do a whole lot for the youth in Asheville, North Carolina, and Western North Carolina.
What made you decide to start the organization?
Well, my story has been told for a very long time. I'm a native of Asheville. I was born and raised here. Came from two loving parents. Robin Lake is my mom. Benny Lake is my dad. My dad passed away in 2010. He was a native of Asheville, but he was also an activist. You know, he was known primarily for a couple of things. He played with the original Harlem Globetrotters, and so Curly Neal and Meadowlark Lemon and Geese and all those guys used to frequent the house and see those guys all the time. But he also would rather talk about his work that he did at the state. He worked for the state for 30 years. He and my mom worked for the Juvenile Evaluation Center out in Black Mountain. So I know he was an activist, throw a rock in any direction. Everybody knew Benny Lake. And so when he passed away, I wrote a book titled My Daddy Taught Me That. The book was written to educate and inform primarily men what I feel is one of the biggest issues in this country, which is single-parent homes. Right now, today, we have 15.9 million single families. 84% are headed by single moms. So that tells us if we have about 10 kids living in single-parent homes, eight and a half of those kids have no access to positive male role models or influences. And so I thought that was an issue coming from the background that I had, the father that I had. And so I wrote a book. And then after writing a book, also I spent 20 years as a CPS social worker. So dealing with neglected and abused kids from the county. Right. Here in Buncombe County. So dealing with neglected and abused kids, I saw the impact, of how, single parent homes affect our youth. And so wanted to do something to change it. Started an organization working with young men. It has grown into a really, really great organization. And we have done a lot over the last 13 and a half years in the greater Asheville, Western North Carolina, and looking to expand. Yeah.
Oh man, that's wonderful. You said like after school programs, is that in your location? How does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, we have after school. So like we pick up from all the schools and stuff like that. But our flagship programs are after school programs as well. So they start at around 5:30 We feed our kids, and then we have about 2.5 hours to really just dive in and really, work with our youth and kids. We have men discussion groups where we talk about everything from the privatization of prisons to test scores to how to tie a tie to really talking about the unwritten rules that it's going to take to be successful in this world, right? And also, letting our kids know that there are so many challenges and hurdles. Here's the pitfalls. Here's how you avoid those pitfalls. The beauty behind our programs is that it's not just myself or a quote unquote, the kids call us the old heads or the OGs, right? It's not us just preaching to these young folks. It's an opportunity for their voices to be heard in a safe place. And so, we probably learn more from them than they ever learn from us as far as really being able to help navigate and meeting them not only where they are, but giving them the opportunity to expand beyond and grow beyond. And so if you give a kid an opportunity to not only instill a dream, but have a dream, allowing them to be able to fulfill that dream is what we have been able to do. And so trainings, you name it, we've been able to do it and been able to be successful at doing it. So it's been a great ride, and it's been truly, my life has been servitude, serving, and again, 20 years as a social worker, almost 14 years running this nonprofit. And so this has been amazing.
How many youth are in the program?
Right now, we probably have close to 200 kids in the program, if you count all of our, and actually that's just within the program. We also are based in the school system. So we have our impact coaches, which actually go to city and county schools. We don't document the number of kids that we deal with. It's just too many. But just within our programs, we have, close to 200, maybe a little over 200.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so cool. What do you find is something that is a challenge, like starting it? Like, what are some things that you had to overcome to have it be so successful?
If I'm gonna be, as transparent as possible, that's the only way I know how to be. It wasn't me, it was Christ. God really. So I started the program when I was 35, and it was just an opportunity to help give back and try to really teach young men, really just morals and, but it has grown and morphed into something beautiful. And, every day things happen. What made me do it again was really just seeing, trying to capture these young folks while they're still, moldable and you can still pliable and you can still teach and grow, rather than, they get too old and they've already made a slew of mistakes in their lives. We all make mistakes, but, we also know how things work when you're dealing with this young population, particularly Black and brown kids in the penal system. You make a mistake or two and, that could be the end. It's not a lot of second chances when it comes to that system. And so let's grab them before they start to get out there so they can understand what's readily, available for them as far as resources and opportunities. But also let's let them know what's out there that's going to try to trip them up, what's going to be out there waiting for them. The reality of what's happening, So absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Do you see where, the youth that have been in the program, when they age out of it, if you will, do they come back and help support?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
totally see that.
Yeah, so we have our ambassador program. And so with our ambassador program, we created that in 2018. It was created for young men who have been in our program 5+ years. So you've been in the program 5 years, the validity of the program, what's expected. It is your job. So we also created our junior program in 2018. And so again, the old heads or the OGs wasn't preaching and teaching the juniors, which is our elementary school kids ages 5 through 11. It's your job. So you guys are going to be the ones teaching and training our juniors. So, I got about 7 or 8 kids. Like, for example, D'Angelo Collins is one of our, ones we talk about a lot. He grew up in the program. He came through the program. He became an ambassador, and now he's the director. My daddy taught me that. We have Trey McGahee, who's come through the program. He's in college right now. He comes back and works every summer. And, we have several young folks who have stuck around, male and female, who have kind of grown up in the program, seen the the benefits of the program and the success of their lives and how it has impacted them. And so they're still around, they're still helping out and still supporting.
Yeah, and giving back to the community
Absolutely.
that supported them as well. So that's so good. That kind of gives me chills, like, to give back and just to see what a wonderful program that you've set up for these young people that are, facing all kinds of different situations.
Right.
So, well, today we're kind of here to also talk about our Black Business Alliance that
Absolutely.
we have here with the Chamber, which you can find more information at ashevillechamber.org/blackbusiness, and it'll give you a list of all of the upcoming dates that we have. And you're part of the panel that will be talking, and we appreciate you so much for being a part of that and helping with those resources. So getting involved with the Black Business Alliance, what does that kind of mean for you?
That means a lot. Being a native in Asheville, one, my life was a servitude, but it's always been really trying to support. So Asheville also has had a resource-rich Black business community in the past. When I was growing up, we had barbershops, we had stores, we had a lot of, successful Black businesses. And, as I've gotten older, Asheville has changed. It's not that at all. And so, Eagle Market Street is where, we had a lot of businesses that has all been gentrified. And, and so I look at it as an opportunity to bring that back and bring it back in an even more powerful way. We know, again, I deal with youth and young adults. Being able to have a community in where you fit in the community, you can see yourself in different roles in community is huge. And being able to know that, one of the things that we lack and we suffer here in Asheville, when all of my friends come from college and it's like, where do people of color hang out? Where do the Black people go? And it's like, nowhere really. And then people who come here, move here, it's like, oh, Black people do live in Asheville. It's like, we're here, but, so really having venues, having this, having that, I look at it too, that, if our Black businesses are thriving, that means it just makes it better for Asheville.
Right.
Asheville can thrive and do more. And so I'm elated, I'm excited. I think it's something that is definitely needed. And I think it's also time to start really trying to change the trajectory of Asheville when it comes to business as a whole, and we all start working together and supporting one another and helping the next generation move forward.
Right. And, I'm not sure what the youth kind of go into, like business-wise, career aspirations. But I would say partnering with the Chamber and through the Black Business Alliance, this is a great opportunity to kind of help grow those businesses, those entrepreneurs, which we need, in working for that.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that, was taught to me in generations now is like when you go to college and, leave Asheville, don't come back. Because there's no growth. There's nothing here for you.
Right.
And so, so what happens in essence, we send all of our talent away and our talent doesn't come back. And so it'll be awesome to keep some of our talent here, to keep the wheels going and continue to grow as well. Again, sometimes, people don't need to be at home. They need to go out and venture and spread your wings and fly. But we want to keep some of that talent here as well. And so, yeah.
How do you see the programming that we have set up? How do you see that working for other entrepreneurs in the community? Like, the education piece or the networking or, all of those different opportunities that we have set up through the Black Business Alliance. How do you see that helping the community? Well,
I think it can be beneficial in a lot of ways. One, you just, you can organically grow relationships. And that's the main thing. When you're organically growing relationships, then you can do business, right? I can trust
relationships come first.
Right. Absolutely.
They really do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, we're going to build these relationships through our meet and greets, through the Chamber or through our Black Business Alliance meetings with the Chamber. And so we're growing those relationships, which ultimately, again, I think is the foundational piece. Then, you start talking about business. There's a lot of things that elude the Black community when it comes to business. A lot of things, that were never, my daddy taught me that, but one thing that my dad didn't teach me was stocks and bonds and investments and stuff like that, because he didn't know. So really being able to be with people who know, who can educate, who can teach, and who can help you. So therefore, you can take that back and spread and teach and grow. And so I think it's just something that can be something that is great. Also, I think, with the chamber, making sure and being, I would say the word that I'm looking for is being serious and strategic about who they're partnering with as well. Everybody can't do certain things. And so being strategic when it comes to business is like, we know that we have the right players in the room.
Right.
We know that we have the right people in the room. And so therefore we're doing the right things. And so I think that's important as well.
Yeah, you're right. Because not everybody is really great at every aspect of their business, but meeting people and making those relationships can help in so many ways that you might not have ever known. I mean, I love the networking component of what we do, and it just creates that community as well.
Absolutely.
And you were talking about relationships. People like to do business with people that they connect with, and that they feel comfortable with, and then the business will follow because you've created that trust.
Absolutely.
So. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share kind of about the Black Business Alliance? And my daddy taught me that.
Well, I'm just excited, really, because this is something that's fairly, while I've known of Black Business Alliances throughout, even here, growing your business and transitioning from 20 years with the county and then, working full time. And even though I've been there was a 10-year period where I was working 2 full-time jobs. I was at the county for, full-time, and I was full-time. We the first 10 years of my daddy taught me that we had no employees. So it was kind of a one-man show, right? We in 2022, we hired, actually I came on in 2021 as the first full-time employee. 2022, we hired a second one, and now we have about 10 employees working for the actual name of our nonprofit is KL Training Solutions. I say all that to say, I think it's awesome and I think it's great, and I'm excited about partnering with the Black Business Alliance because there's a lot of things that's going to be happening, to introduce Asheville to and to bring to Asheville. Some things that we're really working on and pushing. A name that you might want to keep on the back burner is an organization called Cultural Wireless. Cultural Wireless is something that's going to be, I think, really huge and big. And we're going to be trying to bring that to this area, So as an organization, then, with last year, I did a lot of work with the Governor's Crime Commission. So last March, I was on a task force that we were writing legislation and policy for gang prevention in the state of North Carolina. In June of last year, June or July, Governor Josh Stein passed it as law. And so now I'm on a task force, and so we're going to be doing a lot of work with them as well, bringing those connections to the chamber, partnering with the Black Business Alliance. I think those are going to be things that, just so it's exciting because, one, you have more resources coming in, more individuals shining a light on a much needed issue, which is our Black business here. I mean, we could talk about, education. We could talk about anything really. When it boils down to economics, and we talk about poverty. It boils down to economics, and it boils down to we've had this conversation. I've had this conversation in the past for years. In Asheville, North Carolina, 2 businesses that are just alike. One white owned, one black owned. The white-owned business will make $400,000 a year. The black-owned business will make $40,000 a year, and that's the gap. And so, that is a huge gap, but we have to get to a point where even if that race, that they're not caught up, totally, there's still some efforts and resources being poured in to a community that desperately needs it.
Well, and that's what we're here to help support through the Chamber and with the Black Business Alliance. And we're just so glad that you are on this group with us, the committee, and thank you for all that you're doing in the community and with the chamber. It's amazing. So if our viewers want to learn more about My Daddy Taught Me That, how can they find you?
Well, we're all on social media. You can go to mydaddytaughtmethat.org. We actually have KL Training Solutions. We have a lot of stuff. But the website is www.mydaddytaughtmethat.org or www.kltrainingsolutions.org.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, we really appreciate you being here with us today. Thank you for shining a light on the youth in our community, and thank you for all that you do.
No, thank you guys for having me. I am elated to be partnering with the Chamber. I think the Chamber has always done some amazing things, and so really being able to be more on the forefront of partnership, and we're in this together. And so I'm excited to be a part of this and looking forward to not only working more closely with the Chamber, but the Black Business Alliance. So again, thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thanks for being here. If you enjoyed today's episode, like, comment, and subscribe. To learn more about joining the Asheville Chamber, scan the QR code on your screen or visit ashevillechamber.org. Until next time.